Ain't nobody fresher than my click.
Welcome back to HIVEMIND Unlimited.
And welcome to another episode of our movie series, How Did It Age? Where we rewatch older movies and reevaluate them with modern context. This movie is Click. It's a 2006 film starring Adam Sandler.
It also stars Kate Beckinsale, Christopher Walken, Henry Winkler, Mr. Hasselhoff himself, Julie Kavner, Sean Astin, Jennifer Coolidge. And then we get a moment of, who's his kid?
Well, there's two, but
Yeah.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill for a moment.
There's a lot of cameos. Terry Crews makes an appearance as well.
True. It is not universally loved. It has a 34% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 6.4 on IMDb, and a 2.9 on letterboxd. And our guy Raj really hated it.
I was surprised to see that he hated it this much.
Yeah, I think the title of it is like not remotely amusing. He gave it a 2 out of 4.
Well, that's funny, though.
That's funny.
Remotely.
Yeah.
Not remotely amused.
Yeah. That's funny. He's funny.
That's a good bit. That's funny.
He's funny.
He should have been in the writer's room for
He
this one.
should have been.
Yeah.
This is my favorite little section from his review. He says, this movie is being sold as a comedy, but you know what? This isn't funny. Yes, there are some laughs, as when he finds he can turn the dogs barking up and down, or play around with the settings for the hue and contrast, and when he discovers the picture-in-picture feature that allows him to watch the ball game no matter what else is going on around him. But the movie essentially involves a workaholic who uses his universal remote to skip over all the bad stuff in his life and discovers in the process that he is missing life itself. Take away the gimmick of the universal remote, and this is what a lot of us do, and it's sad.
Wow, he really got introspective with his hatred of this movie.
And the rest of it is like super scathing. It's almost like he's mad that he's done this before or something.
Well, here's what I wrote, which is some of it is covered, honestly, in this negative review. But Michael Newman, played by Adam Sandler, is a father and husband who is struggling to juggle work and family. After entering the Beyond section at Bed Bath & Beyond, he meets Morty, played by Christopher Walken, who gives him a universal remote that controls reality. He can slow things down, speed things up, pause time, and even skip chapters. However, the remote is continuously programming itself based on how Michael uses it, causing him to miss the important moments of his life and lose control.
Yeah.
That's just the plot of the movie.
Yes, correct. All right, this movie is directed by Frank Corsi, is how I'd say that, I guess. And it's written by Steve Coren and Mark O'Keefe, who are the writers of Bruce Almighty.
That makes sense.
It was a box office success. It made $240.7 million against an $82.5 million budget. And this kind of comes on the heels of the Sandler era that gave us movies like Spanglish, Anger Management, 50 First Dates, Longest Yard, Grandma's Boy, and Benchwarmers. So it's kind of a strange Sandler period here. A lot of this era is kind of like defined by him rounding up all of his friends and kind of choosing to do whatever he wants. This is kind of his blank check period where he's had so much success off the like Happy Madison Productions stuff that he can just do whatever he wants. And it's a lot of hits and misses here. This movie's like oddly like a cultural touchstone or something like this. Everyone saw this.
Everyone has seen it. Everyone cries.
Yeah.
Everyone cries. It got me again. I was going to bring that up later, but I don't know how it did because I rewatching it now, it's been some time. I saw it a lot when I was a kid. And then now, like, you know, it's probably been 10 years since I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
And about halfway through, I was like, okay, well, this is fucking stupid now.
Yep.
Like a lot of these jokes have aged very stupid for me. It still got me in the end, which is kind of like, I'll get into my overall thoughts in the movie and the sections, but it is weird that I still cried. And it's weird that that's the first thing anyone brings up about this specific Adam Sandler movie that sits amongst all these other ones, which everyone can agree are goofy, silly comedies with their merits and their stupidity.
Yeah.
But it's like odd that this one lives more as an emotional piece than anything else in people's minds.
Yeah. It's very strange. It got under some heat. It was, I think it had a Goosebumps lawsuit. There's an R.L. Stine story called The Magic Thread, but it also had the title Click that was about like exactly this, like being able to fast forward and reverse and pause time. And it's also reminiscent of like It's a Wonderful Life or like A Christmas Story or something, as you like are kind of guided through your life via an angel to see either your importance to the people around you or like the things that you choose to miss out on, like in this, and how you have to eventually face the repercussions of that. One last little fun contextual note. This was nominated for an Oscar.
I saw that on IMDb.
Yeah, an Academy Award nomination for makeup, which I have to assume is for the fat suit.
Yeah, it's got to. I mean, he shakes around his whole belly. I did think, I was like, wow, that was formidable.
It's pretty good.
Right.
And then the flap.
Yeah, the flap. Yeah, there's some stuff. I don't know why. I mean, nowadays we see a lot of stuff that gets nominated for that, and it's like actually out of this world, like The Substance or something.
Sure, yeah.
Now, this is pretty simple, but I guess they,
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They had to make David Hasselhoff look alive, so that's probably part of it too.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Not easy to do. This is pre-AI, so you have seen this a bunch of times.
Yeah, I already said that.
I saw it in theaters, which is better.
Okay, that is better. Yeah, I did not see it in theaters.
I remember seeing it in theaters and being kind of rocked, and I think I went with my dad and being like, love you, Pa.
Yeah, the moment where he jumps on his dad, I know we're not getting to scenes yet, but like that moment, I definitely was like, wow. Like it made me want to call my dad and be like, let's hang out.
Made me want to get in bed with him.
Yeah, I wanted to jump on him in bed with my mom. And then once I leave the room, they contemplate having sex and then decide that they're too tired.
Yep.
That's what I want.
Me too.
For my familial relationship with my parents, that's what I want. It's a relationship like that. I don't have much for lines. Again, I have more for scenes.
Okay.
Here's some lines that aged really badly.
Let's hear them.
The news report that is in the future.
Yep.
That you just hear. It's like a radio report or whatever. It says, Britney Spears had her 23rd baby today. Proud father Kevin Federline now says he's considering a job. Michael Jackson, the first man to clone himself, has now sued himself for molesting himself. This is very close to Michael Jackson's death.
Yeah.
Like they just snuck this one in there, and then Michael Jackson died, like the same year?
2006. Yeah, not far after, if not that year.
Yeah, somewhere close to there.
Hey.
And Kevin Federline and Britney Spears, that was like a blip on everybody's radar.
Yeah.
And like I remember it, but I was a little kid. Like I don't really remember it that well.
Yeah, I think if you went out and asked 100 people who Kevin Federline is, like, what are you getting, 11?
Yeah, probably. Depends
Around
where
there.
you are. If you go on the quad down at Wayne State or something, no shot.
No shot.
There's going to be like 3 people who are like, oh yeah, from the Britney Spears documentary.
There's a quad in Wayne State?
Probably not, but it's a college that I named, and we don't have to harp on my example being faulty.
No problem.
Feels weird.
No problem.
Feels weird that you even called that out. But
go ahead. You got more.
Oh yeah, I just think it's funny that the movie one predicts Britney Spears still being like talked about like this at that time. Obviously, you got to work with what you got culturally. It's hard to predict new people, but and then the Michael Jackson thing. But also, it's like here are our jokes for the day. Our Britney Spears is a whore. Popular whore, Britney Spears. We'll make a joke about that. Kevin Federline is a deadbeat.
Yep.
And Michael Jackson molested kids, possibly.
Yeah.
But also, he's going to live forever. And then he doesn't.
Yeah, it sucks. Some lines I love in this movie come from the neighbor kid, the O'Doyles.
The O'Doyles.
Which is really weird because the O'Doyles exist in the Sandler universe.
Oh, yeah. They're always the neighbor or the bullies at school.
Yeah, like in Billy Madison, when he goes back to school, the bully in each grade is an O'Doyle. And every time they do something, they put him in a trash can or something, they go, O'Doyle rules.
Yeah, O'Doyle rules.
And like when it started, I was like, oh yeah, look at that. And then I was like, is this the same universe? Like, is somehow Sandler's character actually maybe like Billy Madison's cousin or something?
I think it's like Adam Sandler's buddies write him a movie and they send him over the script and he's like, I just got a few notes. I think it's perfect. It's a perfect script. But can we make the bullies the O'Doyles again? I'm just sick of new names and I'm not going to remember that when I'm on set. I'm filming 6 movies in one day, so I really need to get this right, you know?
When he jumps the fence at the 4th of July party, he says, I kicked your dad's ass in high school and I'll kick yours now. And I was like, wow, what the?
Yeah.
He went to high school with Billy Madison?
His name might as well be Billy Madison. Billy Madison all grown up.
Happy Billy Madison Gilmore.
Yeah. I did have the thought, no joke, about 15 minutes into the movie. I was like, when does he start playing golf? I was like, wait, he's an architect? I thought he was a golfer.
That's a hard thing to buy too, is that he's just like an ace architect.
You don't get the sense that he really knows much about his job.
No.
But he gets to fast forward through it and he does a bang up job. So.
Yeah, becomes the best in the world.
Mm-hmm. I like that he's, I'm just going to jump around. These are my thoughts about the movie. I think it's hilarious that he's been in a coma for 6 years. He wakes up and immediately sees a billboard that says Architect of the Year.
Yeah.
I was like, dude was in a coma.
Yeah, what'd they do? Like build all of his blueprints he'd been sitting on or something?
I have no idea why. That makes zero sense.
That's a good point.
Unless I'm missing like a time jump, but I don't think I don't know.
Some other lines I love when his daughter's young and runs over and goes, Dad, how long are you going to live? And he's like 1 minute to his boss, and then the girl's like 1 minute.
And then he says 200 years.
Yeah, 200 years, which doesn't come true. The O'Doyles, when they're bullying him at the 4th of July party, they say, "Go watch VH1, old man." Okay,
that's like, hilarious.
Like, why is that a dig in 2006? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Everybody was watching VH1.
Yeah, I guess so.
I was 12 and I was watching VH1. It wasn't like a funny. That's just funny.
Those Gen Z O'Doyles that are hating on us millennials for loving VH1.
I like when he's like explaining to Hasselhoff that he's got to go on a 4th of July weekend with the family. He can't do the work. And Hasselhoff goes, "Michael, these guys are Japanese. They can't even wait for their fish to cook."
Yeah, I wrote down in the scenes, there's like, those are like the minor racist jabs in the movie. There are some more major, some right and left hook type of punches, punching down type of vibes. But at the same time, like, that joke is funny in an old uncle sort of way.
Yeah.
But it does come across, I'm like, if you didn't do all of the other ones, those ones wouldn't stand out as being insensitive, you
Absolutely.
know?
Jennifer Coolidge has great lines, as she does in everything she's in. I like when she's like watching them interact at the breakfast table, and she goes, "I want that. I want a husband who I can love and kiss and give juice to." Honestly, I was watching it on my laptop, and I was like over in my dock, and I didn't even notice, like, I didn't see them pouring the juice. And so that line, like, out of visual cues was so funny. Yeah,
because then Adam Sandler's character like likens it to like, you give a lot of juice to people. You've had 3 husbands and you cheated on them all with their brothers.
Yes.
And then I have that second part of it, and in my lines, which is, she says, "I was desperate for companionship. All of my husbands, all of them have emotionally abandoned me." And then Michael says, "They went to work. You had sex with their unemployed brothers. You're a horn dog." Yeah. "You're a horn dog" is so funny because I was really expecting something worse.
Yeah.
That he was going to say like slut or whore or something, but horn dog?
You're a horn dog.
You're a horn dog.
I like when Christopher Walken's like showing him around the menu and James Earl Jones chimes in with the voiceover. Adam Sandler or Michael Newman goes, "Is that James Earl Jones?" And Chris Walken goes, "James does a lot of voiceover work." It's like a funny, like, James Earl Jones exists in that world too, which is just hilarious. And then later on, as he like runs out of the room or something, he's like, "And Michael left his wife in bed, confused and unsatisfied." And you hear him from the other room go, "Shut up, James Earl Jones."
Yeah, I do love that. I love when Jonah Hill is his son for 5 seconds. He says, "Oh my God, you're enormous," because he's skipped to a reality where his son Ben is now Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
And Jonah Hill says, "Look who's talking, Captain Twinkie of the SS Fat Ass. Really good for my self-esteem. Maybe if you took me to Pilates like you said you would, people wouldn't think I was Rosie O'Donnell."
And he like cries and runs upstairs. That's it. That's
it for Jonah Hill.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I like literally did a double take. I was like, wait, is this fucking Jonah Hill?
That's what I said too. I was
Holy
like, oh shit. I like when he gets the bikes for his kids after thinking he gets the partnership, and his kid has already sworn once at the 4th of July thing. He like says shit, but the second he gets on his bike, he goes, "Kevin O'Doyle's gonna shit himself." Little kid swearing is always gonna get me.
Speaking of that, when his daughter, after he like fast forwards through his shower, because it's like they're out of hot water, so he uses cold water. He's like in his suit and he's like, "Oh, I'm all clean and I'm looking sexy," like blah blah blah. And his daughter's like, "Did you smoke crack, Daddy?"
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
They do write, like, I will say, Adam Sandler movies, they do write really good lines for little kids to say.
Oh yeah.
Especially in like the one that he did with Judd Apatow, Funny People.
Yeah.
That one has a lot of that, where it's like actually Judd Apatow's daughters at the time, and they're little kids, and they say like hilarious lines. They write it like so out of pocket and so out of nowhere, and to have a little kid voice saying these things actually makes them a lot funnier.
Totally. It's because he's like king of childish humor. You know?
Yeah. His jokes should be said by a child as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I like when he finally pauses and he's like slapping Hasselhoff around. He like realizes it took him so long for his promotion or whatever. He slaps him around and then he does the big fart in his face, which is a terrible joke. But then it's Hasselhoff's reaction that I like. He's like, "Tastes like shit."
Yeah, did I taste shit?
"Stacy, did you put shit in my lunch?" That's funny. Like the last line I guess I have here, this is actually like a good movie line delivered by like the best actor in the movie, Christopher Walken. He's like, "You know the guy from the cereal, the Lucky Charms guy? He's always chasing the pot of gold, and at the end of the day and at the end of the rainbow, it's just cornflakes."
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's good.
And then he's like, do you get it?
Yeah.
He's like trying to whatever. I will say, you just said Christopher Walken, best actor in the movie. Career-wise, yes.
Right,
This
that's
movie,
what I mean, yeah.
hell no.
No.
Christopher Walken might be the worst performance in this movie. He says lines in a way that like does not make any sense in this
it's
movie.
very strange.
It is like, there are moments, he gets some laughs in this movie for sure. It's not a great Christopher Walken performance.
Not at all. I do love the one little moment where Michael thinks he's on the game show and he starts like singing and dancing and Christopher Walken just joins in with him and he's like, oh, see, Marty likes it.
I mean, my favorite Christopher Walken moment in this entire movie is the fake pause in the menu. Like when he like, and you kind of see it coming, but at the same time, it's so funny because he's like, you're supposed to be here with me. And then he's like, he's like, I got you. He's like playing around with it. That's great. I've been writing in my notes as I watch these. I feel like I like the categories for sure.
Yeah.
But I write notes so like I'm texting somebody about the movie or something. That's kind of what I did for this one.
Sure.
Like I wrote, this is like verbatim what I wrote down in my phone while watching the movie. Racist. Names at the beginning, like the Hubba Bubba, they can't say all of the Middle Eastern guys' names, and they just keep doing different ones. Habada Habada. Like they do it multiple times. I was like, this is so insensitive.
Schneider back again.
And then the dinner with the Japanese team, there's a bunch of insensitive jokes there. It's a lot of like race played for laughs that is just like typical Adam Sandler movie, whatever. Also, I wrote, Adam Sandler movies are written a lot of the time by Adam Sandler, or at least like put together by Adam Sandler. And in every single one, people notice he's a good guy despite his behavior. Like it's so weird how many people go out of their way to say, you're a good guy. And that comes back around, I will say, at the end of my notes, I kind of like, that's like the beginning of my thought on it. And then there's a finishing thought on it, which is a little more redeeming for Adam Sandler. But I did laugh out loud when he makes the O'Doyle kid get hit in the face with the baseball.
Yeah.
He's whistling while he does it. It's so nonchalant. He just moves the mitt down. He gets hit in the face.
He goes, you're a regular Derek Jeter yourself.
Yeah. Marge Simpson is his mom.
O'Doyle's mom?
No. Adam Sandler's mom.
Yeah, you're right.
I picked it up on the first line.
Yeah.
I literally was like, is that fucking Marge Simpson? And I looked it up because I don't know what the voice actor for Marge Simpson looks like. But I heard it and was like, this has got to be Marge Simpson. And it is. So his parents are the Fonz and Marge Simpson.
Kind of a dream couple right there.
It is awesome.
Powerful. I love Sean Astin as the stepdad character in general. He's just got the perfect look for like kiss ass swooping in on my ex-wife.
But he also, I did have a problem with this. Like he is so sweet and nice in this movie. And so many times Adam Sandler, even after redemption arcs, is pausing to fuck with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this is a good guy. He's like it's like weird how these movies can do that a little bit. I'm like, it would literally play better in the movie if they like shake hands and are like, we have a mutual respect.
He gives him the okay at the end. And I think a lot of it is, if I'm really trying to fill plot holes in this movie, like when he's big and fat and he encounters him and he's like, you stole my wife or whatever. And they're yelling. Sean Astin's character says, or Gary says, I thought we worked through this. Michael's character fast forwards through, and then he's often, all we see is just like his moments of like learning everything so fast. Like maybe in those autopilot moments or whatever, he like accepts it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, I don't know. He just seems like such a nice guy. I will say it got a laugh out of me when he is going around saying all these things as he's dying on the ground, and then he like lifts his shaky hand to flip off Sean Astin, and then turns it into like you're okay with me.
Like a conversation. He's like, and Sean's like, and then he goes. Like a little back and forth there.
Yeah, I do like that. He looks great in a Speedo, by the way.
Oh, it's awesome.
Sean Astin, he's a very handsome guy.
It's Rudy, baby.
Yeah. I mean, that's also, he's in the fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
And then he's Bob in Stranger Things.
Yep. Why is Kate Beckinsale dressed up as Pocahontas?
Oh, totally. I think she also wants to do that for 4th of July.
Right. Did I miss something?
First of all, Kate Beckinsale's character seems like perverted. She gets turned on by dogs fucking and then wants to role play as Pocahontas and like a pilgrim or something. Like, she's trying to do like weird Native American role play sex.
Yeah.
And the other thing I noticed about her is she's so hot.
She can be very sexy when she's on camera.
She is like a very like beautiful
Sexy, yeah.
and gorgeous woman, which is weird for this movie, I guess.
Speaking of plot holes,
Oh yeah.
why does he point the remote at the dog in the first place? Like when he's working and the dog starts barking, he's like, will you just shut up by yourself in your basement working? Like
I've done that before.
you've pointed your remote at your dog.
Yeah, like as a joke.
To yourself.
No, I mean, no, I would do it like with somebody else in
Right.
the room. Like I'd be like, oh my God, like, oof, you
Yeah.
know?
He's just by himself in his basement working. And it seems like a genuine point.
Yeah, that is a big plot hole. They should definitely reshoot this movie.
Yeah, they should.
My big problem with this movie is how underutilized the cranberries are.
Yeah.
Why'd they fly them out for that future wedding and then have them sing like a few lines of a alternate version of Linger
Yeah.
that is just in the background of scenes? It is like in total 20 seconds. I'm like, you guys got the real cranberries. Let them do Linger. Like
Adam
at
Sandler's
least a
probably,
minute.
they're probably friends.
I mean, yeah, probably, but it's
Yeah.
just like so crazy to me
Yeah.
how underutilized. It felt like that could have been such a moment that they just bury. Like, I don't even know if people know that it's actually the Cranberries playing that song.
Right.
It's like so odd.
I had down that it was it's a bad transition. It's like Sinatra wedding, white suit. And then it's like, all right, we're going to play a little number that y'all might remember. It's called Linger. And I'm like, they're not going to be like, and the love of my life. Yeah. All right. Up next, a little Linger by the Cranberries.
Right.
It's a very stupid transition.
Yeah, they got to work it in somehow, though.
I also love the Coolidge moment when she is at the kitchen table. She says, ooh wee, ooh wee.
After saying that, that just looks too Slavic.
Yeah.
Too Slavic. And then she's like, well, you look like shit, Michael. And he's like, you look Slavic.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, I guess.
Worst scene in the movie for me, age-wise, is the Hasselhoff leading like a sexual harassment seminar at work. Like that whole thing is just ridiculous. He's like, here's a little thing I've done before.
It is a little bit redeemed by the fact that that entire scene is just Adam Sandler making him short and
Right.
wide and like having him speak different languages and then responding in Spanish. It is one of the dumbest jokes ever. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not proud that it made me laugh. But when Hasselhoff starts speaking in Spanish to him and he speaks in Spanish back and it's not matching up with their mouths,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
And the fact that it's happening during a serious thing, I'm not saying that there should be dumb jokes within a
Right.
sexual harassment, whatever. That's all played for laughs. Very 2006.
Yes.
Wouldn't happen now. But at the same time, the fact that he's just like fucking with the remote
Yeah.
during it. Why is he doing that at work, by the way? He's so nervous about work, but then he gets in there and it's like, let me fuck with shit and laugh. Like, this will look normal for me to do. He's trying to become a partner at the architecture firm. And he's like,
I'm the Hulk.
yeah.
Also, scene that's really bad. His former assistant Alice transitions to Alan.
Yeah, Rachel Dratch.
Yeah, Rachel Dratch just has like a full sexual transition moment in the scene that's only plugged in there for laughs.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of transphobia kind
Yeah.
of like laced into old Adam Sandler movies and a lot of movies that we've done in this series. I feel like it's definitely not happening the same way anymore.
Right.
But like back then it was always like a cheap laugh and nobody was really like batting an eye at it.
Yeah.
And I feel like if there had been some discussion about it, it would have changed the same way that like gay jokes started to kind of like
Totally.
they waned throughout Adam Sandler's career.
Yeah.
There weren't as many like gay stuff played for jokes as his career went on.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is probably going to happen in comedies in general now with trans issues. But I will say Rachel Dratch doing that was funny. Just like the Alan over there. Yeah, like,
Yucking it up with the other accountants.
and then she just like stares at Michael, like sees him. It's so weird, but
It's very weird.
it's a dumb throwaway joke that
Yeah.
they didn't need to do.
Most powerful scene in the movie, I think the one that gets a lot of people is when he goes back to his final moment seeing his dad and he's just like doesn't even acknowledge him. He offers the quarter joke, he offers a boys' night, and then he says, I love you, son, and he pauses and replays to hear it like 7 times and gives him a little kiss on the cheek. That's kind of the moment I feel like where you're like, fuck. There's like, I was like almost like, maybe I'll just, I know what happens. I don't need to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a tough scene, and it's not like it's particularly acted well. It's just like decrepit Henry Winkler. Another good makeup job. So maybe
No.
he
Hell
looks good.
no. He looks like orange. And like, I literally, I said out loud, I was like, Henry Winkler looks old enough at this moment. Let's not, this is like one of the worst makeup jobs.
Okay.
I thought it
maybe
looked bad.
What I will say about the makeup is they made his kids look like very convincingly old. Like whatever they did to the little kids made them look like adults at the end.
That I was super surprised by because, I only saw one actor listed on IMDb for each of them.
Think of the amount of makeup you'd have to put on a kid to make it bigger. That alone.
They really caked it. They caked it on top.
It's like a paintball.
Yeah.
It keeps getting bigger.
It's pretty crazy. I will say I was going to save it for best performance. Like not Jonah Hill, but his son grown up sounds exactly like Adam Sandler.
Spooky.
It is like, I literally like had to stop and be like, did Adam Sandler voice over these parts?
I thought the same too.
What an incredible job to match the cadence and dialect of Adam Sandler.
Nothing like emotionally or physically outstanding by that performance, but that voice is insane.
Yeah, and not like Adam Sandler like, shut up.
No.
Like it's like Adam Sandler like just normally talking.
Yeah.
He sounds exactly like him. Whoever that actor is.
Very acute. I bet he goes on to do like cartoons or something. Like
probably like a voice actor or like a dramatic actor. I don't know because there's no big laughs from that character at all. But it is so strange how spot on his voice is.
Very bizarre. Last scene we can talk about is the running out of the hospital scene. The kind of the accumulation of everything. He decides no point in living still. I gotta get this final message to my son so he doesn't make the same mistakes I do. Dies in the rain. Drama curtains.
Yeah, and at that moment in the movie, this is what I wrote down in my phone. I said, I don't know how it earns tears, but it got me again. And then I wrote, it's sad even if he sucks and the jokes are dumb. He seems oddly capable of drumming up emotion no matter what. Maybe he does have the charm he writes for his characters.
Yeah.
Like, I like Adam Sandler, and I kind of forget in those moments the dumb and maybe insensitive jokes that have happened throughout the movie, or how he can't resist doing a fart joke. Like all of those things, he really does like come across like a character that you still think there's a heart there. You want him to win. Yeah. All of these things you feel for him when he's like missed these moments. He's not a character who's like so greedy and impulsive that he skips these moments and doesn't care because he got the job he wanted or whatever. He really does miss all of these emotional moments with his family, and that family actually matters to him. All of these things that you can actually relate to in a well-rounded person who does make stupid jokes. Yeah. Like that is another thing is like, we have the tendency to do the same thing. Right. And maybe we don't broadcast it to millions of people, but then you realize, and I'm not saying Adam Sandler is this character. Right. I'm saying like, I did look at Adam Sandler after rewatching this movie a little bit, and like, it is weird how he's so beloved. Yeah. Despite all of the things that he's done. He's made full movies that people said were racist and terrible. Yes. And still everybody loves Adam Sandler. Yeah, he's the Sandman. And I did come away being like, he does have the thing that his characters often have, which is people going out of their way to say this is a good guy. He literally made millions and millions of dollars and used that money to take trips with his friends that he uses movies as an excuse for. Yeah. He made a bunch of movies with his best friends. I gotta respect that. I do love that about him. And this movie, it gets you there. You will think halfway through, there's no way this movie would never make me cry. Yep. And it will make you cry. Yeah. I'm going to finish that by saying these last two notes that I wrote that are unrelated to the emotional aspects of the movie. Okay. I wrote, why he giving architecture notes to his 7-year-old kids? He has a point though. You can't make a room out of pizza and the kids should know that. That's true. And then I wrote, why he gotta sell 2 bikes to save his family? It's not that serious. He tells Hasselhoff, I spent money I didn't have. He bought a Kate Spade bag, 2 tricycles, and a cigar. And then you hear Kate Beckinsale upstairs with the kids going, I'm sorry, we gotta sell the bikes. And the kid's like, I already told the old Doyles I have a new bike. I already showed them the bike. She's like, we don't have a choice. And he's like, fuck it, I gotta fast forward to my promotion. Yeah, I gotta do it. What am I gonna do? I bought 2 bikes. It is so funny. It's awesome. I just wrote, obviously, it would have more of a modern look to the DVD menu-ass graphics in this one, and also it would predict technology a little bit more, because obviously this is working with a limited amount of like the internet and cell phones and shit, whatever, computers, all these things. It does try to do the really like digital look of like, oh, they're in like some weird space. It's like green screen and there's like graphics all around them, but those graphics look very dated, and they also don't have the ideas of like VR, AR, AI, any of these things that now we at least have a present cultural grasp on that then can be used to predict things.
Yeah, I love that the technology inner workings in the remote are like the hue. Like he can change the color. Like he's like, let me get a little tan on.
Right.
That's like the tech in there. Or like, oh, what if I watched baseball at the same time I was getting yelled at by this bitch?
Right.
Like, those are like the two cool tech features in there.
Yeah, they do so little.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that considerably less than I remember.
Yeah,
he does not really fast forward or rewind or pause that much.
No, it's like it basically just gets to the point where it establishes that it's saved his settings, and then that ruins his life. It's like in my mind, I was like, oh, there's like 10 times he pauses on boobs, right? And like is running around and doing.
That was
it's
one
like,
time.
There's like 4 good instances of pausing, and then it just establishes that he skips showers, traffic, sex, and arguments.
Yeah.
And then that ruins his life.
Yeah, like the scene that I do think about is when he slows down the jogger with the big boobs, and then he only does that for a second, and then he sings about it as Barney, which admittedly got me just as someone with nostalgia for Adam Sandler singing, where he's just like, I love you. You love me. That jogger had big boobies. I'm like, all right, you can get away with that if you're purple.
Yeah, sure,
car.
why not? Yeah, I basically just have AR headset type vibes in the technology, and that Hasselhoff's secretaries wouldn't be so slutty.
I actually forgot 2 points that I wrote down.
Please.
One, Adam Sandler movies, this is still the era where women are literally objects. Any hot woman in an Adam Sandler movie that is not the main character, which is always his wife, who is always beautiful, absolutely gorgeous woman. Every other character that is a super hot model woman who has no lines, and if they do, it's like agreeing with men and clapping for them. And then the other thing is that you can always spot a villain in an Adam Sandler movie because they have a sweater over their shoulders.
Yep. Because it's the yuppies. The Sandman's like shorts, and he's the everyday man. And so the second you see a V-neck sweater over someone's shoulders, you're like, oh, that's the bad guy.
Yeah,
that's
right away
that's
you
the
know.
Country club snobby.
Yep, it's Hasselhoff in this. It's Shooter McGavin and Abby Gilmore. There's always going to be a yuppie-ass dude with a sweater over his shoulders who is the bad guy. But also, like, he never, like, sticks it to the bad guy.
No.
He always just figures himself out on the side and is like, fuck my boss.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually, like, destroy anybody.
No.
He coexists with these horrible people.
As we all do, Riley.
As we all do. I already said mine, but it's the guy who plays his kid grown up, not Jonah Hill, the other one.
Yeah, not bad. I think the voice there is great. I have Hasselhoff down. I don't know, this era, I didn't ever watch a Hasselhoff movie.
You didn't watch like SpongeBob movie?
Of course I watched that, but he's literally just like a big chest in that. He's like a hot chest, hairy chest.
What is he in this movie?
Hot hairy chest for sure.
Yeah.
But he like comes from an era that like I wasn't that familiar with. And so to see him resurrected in this role, he is pretty funny in this a lot of the times, and I like how stupid and weird he is.
Yeah.
I like when Sandler comes in the robe and he's like, "You're right," and he just like rips off to the tank top and then he goes to do his pants. Like never really seen any other David Hasselhoff movie, so I had Jennifer Coolidge down first, but she doesn't have enough of a role in this, and she is just being like a horned up Coolidge,
which we all love that.
We all love that, and I love her and Hasselhoff intertwined.
Yeah,
but yeah, David Hasselhoff kind of stole the show for me. Mine's actually shot in the 90s, and it's not a comedy at all. And it's Robin Williams as Michael Newman, and then Anthony Hopkins is Morty. And Danny DeVito is like the CEO of the architecture firm.
Wow. That's an interesting one. I also did a different movie.
Okay, cool.
I did different movie completely. Same concept, but it's Glenn Howerton, and he pauses shit and kills people. Yeah. His wife is Jessica Alba, and they just steal shit and murder people, and they do hella pills.
Dude, so it's kind of like a Natural Born Killers clique.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like You on Netflix with Joe Goldberg.
Yes.
He's like a serial killer. Because I did, like, the reason I even thought of this recast is when he is doing the baseball thing with the O'Doyle kid, I thought about how funny it would be if he just pulled out a gun and shot him. Like, I know that's crazy.
Oh, where'd that come from?
Yeah, if like literally he pauses the kid, he's playing catch with his son, and he just shoots the kid in the head.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we need a movie like that where somebody uses this fully for the wrong reasons, gets away with murder, all of these things. He really doesn't do that much crazy shit with it.
He's like fast forwarding through arguments and to his promotion. How about you pause time and rob a fucking bank and quit your job?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, he had access to a lot more power than he was really using.
You know what I mean? Go grab $1 billion and say, we're going on vacation. Don't be like, oh, I got to get through work. Fast forward 5 years. You could pause for no time passing at all and be the richest man alive.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I really don't want to sell these bikes. I guess I'll pause it and kick my ex-wife's new husband in the balls 4 times. Yeah, it's funny. Is there also, I forget if they establish a rule about rewinding.
You can't rewind.
Can't rewind. You can only go back and look as a voyeur. Okay, I mean, that's fine. So it all checks out and the movie makes sense.
Speaking of voyeurism, I love the little side detail that Christopher Walken, the angel of death, just loves Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, woof, tight body, and woof, wow, what a hubba. And he even writes it on the note.
Your wife's still got a rockin' body, by the way.
So awesome.
Yeah. I wrote down actually fire.
It is.
It is
fire.
awesome. It has the Strokes, Tears for Fears, and then, like those are also they're like really they're topical songs. Like Everybody Wants to Rule the World. You know, that's a thing with the remote and the controlling of all of it. And then the Strokes, it's like someday and it's like, you know, whatever, we need more time. And then obviously you got Cranberries, you got Linger.
Yeah,
and
enjoy the moment.
That is an awesome, it's great. You have to let it linger.
Yeah, you have to let it linger. You can't fast forward, Michael Newman.
I'm such a fool for you too.
I know. God. Fire soundtrack. I was a big fan.
I also like that Matrix sounding shit. When he's doing like he's in the DVD menu, and it does like the garage. It's like, I was like, oh, they're trying to make it so it's digital. Oh, he's in the metaverse.
Some reason you need like breakbeat when you're existing in like the internet.
They like came up with like hacker music, and it's like surf rock or something. They're like, here's what surfing sounds like, is and then now they're like, oh wait, computers kind of sound like. Yeah, I loved it. I said I feel like everyone's seen it.
I said no.
I mean, yeah, I knew you would say no, obviously.
I'm not.
No, of course not. Yeah, it's not the type of movie you would ever recommend.
I can't rationalize. Like, for people with nostalgia and love for the Sandman, they've already seen it.
Right.
And if someone is outside of that, they're like, oh yeah, Click, is that should I watch that? I'd be like, no.
Yeah, I'd weirdly say like if you're 15, maybe you watch it.
For your dad's
Like if
sake.
you've never seen it and you're 15, maybe you watch it because like you can kind of see what comedy used to be like in the 2000s or something.
Fair.
I guess. Or if you are like around our age, maybe like late 20s, early 30s, and you do like a Sandler marathon, I'd say throw this in the rotation.
Yeah, why not?
Possibly.
Yeah, because you need to cry at some point.
Right. You can't just have like Happy Gilmore and 50 First Dates. 50 First Dates, you might cry too, actually.
Look, it's very happy ending though.
I don't remember.
They're on the boat. They're going on the Arctic cruise.
I don't remember anything.
She wakes up and pops in the VHS and then comes up top deck and he's sailing around with her.
What are we talking about?
Oh, God. How about that?
51st Videos, more like. I gave it 2.5 stars and said, wish we could rewind and take out like 20 jokes, but I still cried.
I gave it 1.5 stars and I said, could have used the remote to get through all of those first dates. Like the 50 first dates or something.
Oh.
I was like, I don't know. That maybe he doesn't. Maybe he could use the remote so he doesn't always have to remind Drew Barrymore and he can just fast forward to the part where they're chilling.
Or he could like fast forward back through high school.
Oh yeah, fuck! If you gotta like, let's say you had to repeat all your grades again,
or you fast forward to Kevin Garnett losing that game or whatever.
Through like a long round of golf.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you could fast forward through Grown Ups 2 through 4 or whatever. Like you could get just right past those ones, I guess.
Get through there.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of stuff you could fast forward through in Adam Sandler's career.
And then be just fine.
Or you could have like paused on your 5th season of SNL and not get fired. Maybe maybe write down on Lorne Michaels' desk like Adam Sandler is the best. Remember that from Lorne yesterday.
Will you love me in the morning, baby?
Well, you could write it on a napkin and then it'll be a reference to Click, which is a movie that came out after it. But who cares?
Time's a flat circle.
Absolutely.
Sick, man.
Well, Click, man.
What?
And speaking of click the like button. And also click the subscribe button. And also click subscribe on Patreon for only $5 a month, and you get to see what movie we're watching a week ahead of time for this series. You can also do that with YouTube membership on the main channel, which is called HIVEMIND. Thank you so much for the support on all of those mediums, channels, and out there in the real world.
Leave us some suggestions on what movie we should watch next, please.
Yeah, this has been How Did It Age? This has been Click. This has been 2006. This has been Adam Sandler. You can just fast forward through this part. I'm on a lack of sleep this week. Is a rough one for me. Like 12 hours of sleep all week, I think, combined. This one's gonna be a bad video.
Yeah, I wish we could fast forward through it. Just kidding, you can't.
Well, you can, actually. They can. They can fast forward and rewind. They have a lot of control over us, actually.
How much did this movie actually predict, you know?